Her name was Alira, though the sound carried more resonance than my tongue could form. She led me into the shelter of a crystalline outcrop, where the storm roared but did not touch. The structure itself seemed to hum, resonating with her presence. It wasn't natural stone. It was grown, shaped, as if the entire world had been sculpted by her kind. Through gestures and broken fragments of the seraph tongue, I pieced together her story. She was not a ghost, not a myth. She was one of the last Serati, left behind after her people fled, or perhaps were destroyed ages ago. Your kind forgot us, she signed slowly, every motion deliberate. But we did not forget. She touched her chest where her heart pulsed with that soft glow. I tried to explain who I was, a human explorer, a surveyor from a distant world, but she looked at me with sorrowful disbelief. No, she whispered. Not stranger. Not invader. You are the one who speaks. The storm outside raged for hours. In that crystalline cavern, time seemed suspended. She showed me fragments of her world, bioluminescent etchings that told stories of her people, symbols carved into living stone that pulsed with memory. She was alone, a solitary keeper of traditions no one else remembered. And I was the first outsider who had spoken her tongue in countless generations. The middle days passed. The storm season lingered longer than expected, forcing me to remain with Alira. My survival kit dwindled, but she provided sustenance. Glowing fruits, purified water drawn from crystalline veins. In return, I shared my knowledge. My tablet contained archives of human history, maps of the stars, records of languages. She devoured them with hunger, her hands fluttering rapidly, eager to know if her people's legacy lived elsewhere. And then came the question that changed everything. Where did you learn the hand code? She signed. I told her the truth. From fragments. From ruins excavated on worlds thought abandoned. From professors who believed the Serati were myth. Her hands stilled. Her glow dimmed. No myth, she whispered. We were many. We were strong. Then the silence came. And the stars closed. I leaned forward, pulse quickening. What silence? Her eyes shimmered with tears. She raised both hands and signed a phrase that chilled me. The silence that eats voices. A weapon. Calamity. Something had devoured not just her people but their words. Their ability to connect, to speak, to be remembered. My mind raced. Could it have been an engineered plague? A technology that erased language itself? No wonder fragments were all that remained. You carry memory, she told me, touching my temple gently. You are proof we were real. Proof we still matter. It was then I realized. I hadn't just stumbled onto a survivor. I had stumbled onto the last living key to a civilization humanity had forgotten. But the storm was not endless. And my beacon, finally repaired, began to pulse again, calling my ship. Rescue would come soon. When I told her this, her glow dimmed even further. You will leave, she signed. I hesitated. I can take you with me. But she shook her head. I am bound. This place remembers me. If I leave, it will die. I didn't understand, until she revealed the truth. The crystalline shelters, the glowing fruits, the bioluminescent veins. All of it was alive, connected to her. She was not merely a survivor. She was a living anchor to this world, the last node of a vast network her people had left behind. If she left, the world itself would collapse into silence. The conflict. When the rescue vessel finally descended through the violet clouds, I faced an impossible choice. Alira stood beside me at the edge of the crystalline cliffs, her glow shimmering like a star about to fade. You must go, she said. Your kind must remember. Carry our words. Carry our truth. Or the silence wins. I shook my head violently. Not without you. If you stay, you'll die here alone. Her hands moved swiftly, urgently. Better I remain than all memory vanish. If I leave, the world's voice ends. If I stay, it still sings. The shuttle's lights pierced the storm. I could hear my crew's voices calling over comms, distorted but growing clearer. I turned to her, desperate. Then teach me. Teach me everything before I go. Don't let the silence take more than it already has. And so, in those final hours before rescue, she did. Her hands blurred with motion, passing to me the ancient grammar, the sacred signs, the forgotten stories. I recorded, memorized, absorbed every gesture, every glow. When the shuttle landed, she touched her forehead to mine. Her glow passed through me, leaving a warmth in my chest I had never felt before. You are the voice-bearer, she whispered. Go. Remember. And then she stepped back, vanishing into the crystalline forest as the rescue team pulled me aboard. The ending. Weeks later, safe on my ship, I stood before the Admiralty Council. I presented everything. The recordings, the language, the testimony of Alira. I expected skepticism, perhaps dismissal. But as I signed the words she had taught me, silence fell across the chamber. One of the elder linguists, her eyes brimming with tears, rose and signed the reply. She remembered too. The seraph tongue was not entirely lost. Fragments lived, scattered across stars, in hidden traditions and forgotten families. And now, with Alira's teachings, it would live again. Yet I never forgot her, standing alone beneath the violet storm, her hand speaking what her voice could not. A woman bound to her world, carrying the weight of silence so that her people's memory would endure. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I can still see her, her glow, her hands moving in the air like poetry. And I remember the way her eyes widened in disbelief, the moment I spoke her ancient language aloud. Not disbelief that I understood, but disbelief that after so long, her people had not been entirely forgotten.